Hey you guys, this is your girl Chandra Clark coming to you again from the Just Box where your peace remains still. So your mind can get filled, you won't get a bill, and that is called information. You guys, we are back again with a chapter 4. And again, this chapter, the title of this chapter is called As Sinners, Where Do We Go From Here? As sinners, where do we go from here? I had to open it up with a question. I had to. And again, my answer, you guys, is faith. You go from here by faith, with faith. That's just me. A moment ago, real life, real story, I walked up to a lady at a racetrack on Airline Highway, and she was telling me that she was trying to get some money to go home, and she was trying to get clean. She had her elderly mom in a car. And it was hot out there, y'all. Y'all know if you and from Louisiana, you know the temperature when it say it's 80 degrees is really at 99, 100 degrees, and it was hot. You know, um, I looked in her eyes, no lie, and I asked her this, and I was like, "Man, what are you waiting for? You waiting till your mama die to get clean? You got to get clean now." Her mom was like 70 something. I'm not gonna lie to you, but she was, wheelchair bound. She was her mom caretaker, and she said she got caught up in the life, the fast money life, and she just trying to get clean. So, when I asked her that, it kind of like took her off guard, like you pretty much like, girl, who you was talking to me like that? But she paused and she said, that is my greatest fear for my mom to die while I don't have it together. Because she knows that her mom is dependent on her. She's her mom caretaker. Of course, I bought them some food. I didn't worry about the price. I handed it over to her, but before I handed it over to her, and I told her, I said, look, babe, you got to get yourself clean. You got to do better for your mom before she go home to glory. And of course, I never saw her again. But at that moment, that taught me something, that being lost isn't always a bad thing, because it's the act of finding yourself that changes everything. And that brings me to the film Sinners. There's a moment in the movie that reminds me so much of that woman, and so many of us who's been in a dark place with nobody to, check up on us. You know what I'm saying? So when Sammy Moore returns to his father's church, shattered, confused, and he was clutching that broken neck of that guitar like that was the only thing that left him, holding him together. His father, Pastor Judith, stands at the pulpit and says, it's time to repent. It's time to let that music go. And then at that part, there's of course, a quiet part. And then Sammy says with a voice that is so plain, he said that this music isn't my sin. It is what's saving me. Again, I'm going to say this again. Sammy tells his dad, look, Dad, this music ain't doing nothing to me. This music is saving me. If you'd have seen what you saw back there, you would have been thanking God that I didn't, go crazy or anything. But right there, that's what faith looks like in the fire pit. That's what faith look like in the face of, when you face the demon. Faith look like that in the midst of it all. Faith is right there. Sammy didn't walk back into that church with answers. He walked back in that church with questions. With all that stuff that he survived, if it was the faith that kept him going. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning of the movie that, the devil said, his dad said, don't bring the devil back with you. And I get it, and I got that. But sometimes faith doesn't look like Sunday's best and lifting your hands. Sometimes faith is cracked and bleeding. Sometimes faith is sitting on the side of a gas station in the heat, hoping that somebody sees you. Sometimes faith is showing up even when you are still broken. Okay. And that's where another story comes in at. You know, um, I had a friend years ago who had a cousin that was just go in and out of jail, in and out of jail. Doing drugs, stealing from people. When I tell you, name it, that young man did it. Nobody thought that he would make it past 30, but because what I was hearing, I thought he ain't make it past 20. You know what I'm saying? But his mama and his aunt never gave up on him. They prayed for him every single night. They prayed for him when he was incarcerated. They prayed for him. They never gave up on him. Even when he stole from his mama, his auntie, even though when he stopped coming home, things like that, they never gave up on that young man. And believe it or not, one day he called home. He was tired. He was broke, but he said, listen, you guys, I am sober. Mama, I don't want to die like this. Mama, I don't want to be a disappointment no more. Mama, I want to come home. And the first thing that his mama told him, son, come on home and let God do the rest. And he did. And don't you know, today that young man is married. He has a 6-figure job. He's teaching young men how to work with their hands and how to respect their elders. See, God didn't change him overnight, but faith kept him long enough so that way he can be changed. So if you're listening to this right now and you're asking, where do we go from here? Or where do I go from here as a sinner? I'm going to tell you this, and I'm just going to leave it on like that. Go ahead and go forward. Go ahead and allow God. Go through the pain until you reach your peace. Look, there's a verse. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys know this verse, Philippians 4:13. It says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. That means even in this, even in the recovery, even in the rebuilding, even in the forgiving yourself. I'm just trying to tell you. See, this chapter is for the ones who feel stuck, who wonder if they've gone too far. Well, let me be the voice to tell you that you have not gone far enough. You have not gone far enough. Sometimes you have to lose something close to you, and maybe it can be someone you love so much to realize that we still have time to get it done and get it right. See, this is what I've come to know and come to find out, that faith can guide you when you're lost. We must trust the process. It's never too late for change. And one day we will have to stand before God and be accountable of what we have done. So let your faith guide you, not just to better your life, but to let a life of peace with the Lord guide you. Find the way for your soul to get where it needs to be. You guys, listen. I have said this before. Without construction in your life, you will not get production. God is a God of signs, and he's a God that he will show you better than he can tell you. He's a God that he can give it and he can take it away. He's a God that, if you have not seen the movie Sinners, I'm asking you right now, I'm asking you. I'm not on bending knees because my knees hurt, but I'm asking you right now, take a look at that movie. And if you do not see your life, if you do not see the life that you're living inside that movie, something's going on. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And I'm telling you what I know. You guys take in consideration that sometimes that even though we feel like we know everything, we do not know everything. I'm telling you right now, let God move in a way that he needs to move so that way he can show. Hey, you guys, we just got finished with chapter 4 as sinners. Where do we go from here? You guys, I would like to thank you so much for tuning in. We do ask that you like, share, and subscribe. We do ask that you give us some love. Let us know what you think. what we can do to make it a little bit better or a little bit more interesting. But again, we do want to thank you so much for tuning into the Jess Box, where your peace will remain still, so your mind can get filled and you won't get a bill, because that is called information. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye bye.